Minneapolis, St. Paul is a place where apartment owners and operators have a history of setting rents conservatively, perhaps leaving a little bit of money on the table.
But you tend to get all riled up when we talk about this market. So perhaps the better question here is how much yelling are you going to do with me and the line?
I guess we're going to find that out today. I'm Greg Willett. He's Cameron McIntosh. Welcome to Apartment Market Dynamics from MPF Research as we discuss key performance metrics in the Twin Cities area.
Apartment construction in Minneapolis, St. Paul has proved aggressive by local standards during much of this economic cycle. But building activity has now slowed down to a degree. Let's look at the numbers in a couple of different ways. First, here's the ongoing construction tally. As you can see, the total of product under construction topped out at roughly 8,000 or so units in late 2013 and early 2014. More recently, that tally has drifted downward, coming in at 4,886 units as of early 2016. Translating that ongoing construction info into completion data, annual deliveries peaked out at just over 6,600 units in the fall of 2014 before easing to 4,646 units as of first quarter 2016. This is one of the few locations across the country where upcoming deliveries will be meaningfully less than the volume just completed.
Apartment occupancy hasn't budged in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area despite some significant completions recorded in this cycle. Today's occupancy figure is 97.4%. I'll point out that this market basically always ranks alongside New York and the Bay Area on general market tightness. Operators manage to that 3% vacancy level really consistently, doing what they think they have to on the pricing front to get there. Occupancy tells you incredibly little about momentum shifts in Minneapolis-St. Paul. Instead, it's really all about how rents are moving around.
Okay, let me talk about rent then, because this is where you have a tendency to yell.
It is.
As of first quarter, annual rent growth for new resident leases was at 3.8%. Class B properties posted the strongest price increases, with rates up 4.2%. Rents climbed 3.3% over the past year in both Class A and Class C segments. So what do you think?
Well, rent growth a hair under 4% feels a little light when fewer than 3% of all the units are vacant, but it's not dramatic underpricing, and it looks really, really good relative to rent growth that often is under that 3% mark despite the fact that there's really no product availability. By local historical standards, then, I'd say that in Minneapolis, the operators are rocking it right now, being more aggressive than they typically do.
So is this a blip in time, or is this a sustainable performance trend?
That's a hard question, since a lot of the time the actual performance stats here appear to have more to do with the way the locals feel about the underlying influences than what's really happening in reality. So our base case scenario calls for continued tight occupancy right around 97%. That part's really a no-brainer. On the rent growth front, we put the annual number for the next couple of years a little bit over that 3% mark. That's a little bit better than the historical norm, but the flow of product moving through initial lease-up will be slightly less than the volume that was recorded recently.
Minneapolis-St. Paul is definitely a market to watch, especially given the metro's pattern of slightly underperforming general expectations. With that, we'll wrap up this edition of Apartment Market Dynamics from MPF Research. He's Greg Willett, and I am Cameron McIntosh. Thank you for watching.
Want more? Go deeper with NPF Research's apartment market reports. From a national level, down to individual metros, to specific neighborhoods, MPF Research has been providing unparalleled apartment market intelligence to the multifamily industry for almost 5 decades. Learn more by contacting us at 877-284-4938 or visit www.npfresearch.com and click on Market Reports.